well done tonight. After a week of tough results, how big does it feel to get the win? It was one of those nights where you needed the win.
Yeah, really happy. Obviously, the game tests you. You want to be at the top. You want to be fighting for big things. You have to show that resilience. And when a competition touches your ego and it questions who we are as a team, the best way to do it is on the pitch, to talk on the pitch the way we've done, the way we perform, and with the game that we totally deserve to win.
Yeah, you think it was a good show of personality more than anything after everything that happened?
Yes, the desire to stand firm, make yourself big, and have an impact for the team. And this is what we discuss. And now is the time to prove who we are as a team. You want to make another step forward as a team, as a club. You need to live those weeks, and you have to live with whatever the outcome is, because you want to be at the top. There is only one way down, and you have to live with that. I think the players were really good today.
And Wolves really pushed you guys. So how big was it to get that clean sheet? Especially, do you think it was the sense of composure that you really need to show in the end of the season?
Yes, because apart from that ball that we lost in the back line and they went through, we haven't conceded anything, and it's a lot of clean sheets already in a row in the Premier League, which is really difficult, and you need that platform to win the games in this league. So really happy.
How hard was it to find those right spaces and those right decisions as well in the final third?
Yeah, we opened them up a lot of times, but we lacked that pass at the end. The shot that it was blocked, so it wasn't with the right quality. The keeper made some big saves as well, and overall, it's a team that has cost big teams points, and we have come here, and I think we deserve to win the game.
Throughout the season, one of the main narratives around Arsenal is the progress and how you keep progressing compared to last season. So when you look back to the end of last season and the end of this season, what differences do you see?
I don't know. At the end of the season, I can tell you what the difference is. At the moment, we are fighting for the league again for 2 consecutive seasons. We had first experience in the Champions League for those boys, and we have come quite far, not as far as we want, that's for sure, and we still want to improve a lot.
And you're back in the top of the table, so how much does it mean? How does it feel?
It's great. That's where we want to be, and we lost it last week at home against Aston Villa. We didn't deserve to lose that game, but we lost it. This is football. When you look the run that we've been in since January, it's unbelievable, and it's still not top of the league, or where we are today for a few hours, and let's see what happens.
In another big week ahead, you can open 4 points to Manchester City. So how do you approach this possibility?
Well, we have to beat Chelsea now, and they are in good form. I was watching the game today against City, and they are a really good side. I know Mauricio really well, and we have to earn it big time in front of our crowd again on Tuesday and give it a real go.
Well done, Mikel.
Thank you.
Theo, they've put themselves in such a great place, and you could hear Mikel Arteta, not quite explicitly saying, but talking about the lessons learned from last season, when they went on that run of 3 draws that felt like they ended their title campaign. This time around, they had the setback last weekend. They had a setback in Europe, and he talked about, this group of players learning to play Champions League football in midweek. Came back from that disappointment, and they get a win in what looked like quite a tricky game at Molineux. Is that a sign of how much they've learned from last season? Because you played them in that run of 3
I was waiting for that. For that, to be honest. I did play.
As well?
I did score. Oh. Yeah, my last goal, actually. But look, I had to do a job. It was one of those things. But the difference this team, I feel, is the teams they're playing against as well, the fixtures they've got left. It's not much to get up for those games. You look at, your Man Uniteds, your Chelseas, your Tottenhams. They're big games. The games that you want to play as a player and you want to get a positive result. And everyone wants to go out and beat Arsenal now. They always do, which then opens up more space for these.
Do you think if Arsenal win all their games, they win the league?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
When you see the fixtures, what do you think to the fixtures they've got ahead?
I feel that, like I say, it's that these games I don't think you're going to have to get yourself up for. You're just made for it. These are players that want to sort of make the difference and to create history and to change that pattern at Man City of here we go. So, yeah, I look at those right now. City, I feel like Brighton is probably and Tottenham, they've got a lot to say. My sort of nemesis team, should we just say? But Man City, Brighton, that's a tricky fixture. Liverpool again, Fulham away, Everton away, there's some tough fixtures. But Arsenal, I expect them to get as much points in those games. I really do.
This is the time, it's like, predicting is very difficult because anything could happen because you can be
Why
playing.
It's so much fun making you do
It's
it.
so much fun, Kelly. When you look at Man City's games, you know, but there's 4 away and 2 at home. Brighton away is never easy the way that they play. They're a really good side. They're on the front foot. Arsenal made them, obviously a few weeks ago. Tottenham away, they've had a really poor record the last few years. West Ham at home, I think, is a good fixture. Nottingham Forest fighting for their lives. Fulham in fantastic form. They've beaten many a team this season, so not easy. But you could say that about all the fixtures. This is the time when it matters. Every team is trying to either stay up, get into Europe, or finish at the highest position possible. And that's what the Premier League has done by adding the money, etc., and the jeopardy that's involved. But I look at those fixtures, it's not going to be, that's why I don't think anybody's going to say they're going to stay perfect.
So you look at that 70%, and I know you have issues with the supercomputer, it's become personal now, but they've got City at 70%. Are you thinking, because what this is based on is previous record against these teams. It goes on the record that, the statistics that, and the analysis of these teams' performances across the course of this season. They can only base it on what's gone before. They
but if they're going to base it on what's gone before, by the magic of TV, we're going to show what Man City did in the corresponding fixtures early in the season, and it's actually not that good. So that 70% probably shouldn't be the case, because if you look at these fixtures here, Kelly, that they lost against Wolves. I don't think they will this year because of the injury that Wolves have got. I mean, they've only got a draw game.
They lost against Wolves earlier in the season. Last season, they won 3-0 in the corresponding fixtures. The first column is what happened earlier this season in Manchester City's games, where they dropped 5 points from those games. And last season, they dropped 7 points from these fixtures last season. Now, you've said several times you don't think Manchester City are the same say Manchester City aren't incredible, but they're not quite where they were last season.
At the same level they were last year.
And they dropped points in these fixtures.
Yes, and that's all they've got to do. If they drop one, if they draw a game and Arsenal win their game, that's all it takes. Anything can still happen. Like what Manchester City did today by winning that cup game after the disappointment when they played so well against Real Madrid was fantastic. I think it showed everything about that side and the manager and the courage they showed to win that game. But it only takes a slip-up. It's not going to be that easy. In this time of the season, Theo, I've tried to win it. I wasn't lucky enough. I know, you know how difficult it is to win games this time of the season.
Would you say Man City, there's been small cracks in the armour, the fact that players have been coming out saying they're tired and, they're playing a lot of football. That's the different side of City we've not really seen. Do you feel like mentally they're starting to not switch off? They get the job done. But I'm saying, is there a little crack in their armour, potentially?
I would have said, after having watched that game, we watched it together earlier, I would say, looking at no, because that was a brilliant result for them, and it just showed you their character when they needed to grind something out.
Do you think that the teams are looking, the three teams, and we're still saying there's 3 teams in it, and tonight we're sort of focusing on Arsenal, obviously, because they're in action, and Manchester City because they're the defending champions and they are still the favourites to win it. But do you think that those teams are looking tired because their players, their key players? And as much as you can say, teams need their players to stay fit in order to go through a season and mount a title challenge, but they've played a lot of minutes. And of those, right at the top, Virgil van Dijk accepted, the 6 of the top 7 are Arsenal players.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're saying at the start of the season, that Mikel has not had his full squad to his disposal. He's had it now towards the back end of the season, but these are the players he's most trusted, and these are the players that he can consistently sort of look to change and affect games. And yeah, it's a lot of minutes played, but trust me, the players won't be complaining about it. You might see it physically, but they won't complain. They want to play, players, right? You don't want to be sitting on the bench.
I have to be honest, I'm sure a Wednesday night there was a lot of Arsenal players feeling very sorry for themselves, feeling very tired, thinking, how on earth am I going to get myself up for the game against Wolves? But they did. And right now, they'll be going on the back on the bus, they'll be having a little bite to eat, the chat will be so much better, feeling really confident about themselves. And that's how the mood can change in football. It can change so quickly. So I personally think that they'll be looking at now, we're top of the table, and just watching every single game, every minute. You'll be looking at everything on Sky Sports, hoping there might be a little injury or something might happen in the squad, a bit of a fallout of a player, things might go your way. And this is the silly season. Anything can happen. This is, as Alex Ferguson rightly said, this is squeaky bum time. And you've just got to make sure you're in the equation. Liverpool got to try and hang in there, because if you look at the 3 teams, they're the one that are probably having to work the hardest to stay there. Arsenal have picked it up now. Can Liverpool go to Fulham and ask the question of Man City? but big games to come. You know, and I do look at Arsenal, and I think their season rides on the North London derby.
It does. It really does. I feel like they obviously need to do a job before Chelsea, but that's like I was saying before. These are the games that you want to play in. But yeah, the North London derby, Tottenham are not going to want Arsenal to get anything out of this game. They're going to want to spoil the party completely, and potentially spoil everyone's party because they're going for the top four themselves. So they've got a job to do. And yeah, hopefully it won't be spoiled. But look, it's Premier League. We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be an incredible game. I'm pretty sure of that.
Just one more thing on the sort of tiredness or legginess or fatigue of players. When you get to this stage of the season, if you miss one game when there's 5, 6 Premier League games left to go, does it make that much difference to your overall fitness if you miss one of those games?
I don't think so personally. I think as well players would sit out of training to sort of recover in that sense. I was one of the players after this game, particularly now, I'll be on that coach, I'll be the first time asleep. I'll be the first one asleep because travelling back, I want to get a good seat and not speak to anyone because if you're that tired, recovery is so key, sleep's so important, and these guys will be the people that look after these players, nutrition-wise, sleep-wise. Look, there's plenty of people to support that side of it. But yeah, like I say, it's one game you won't really get tired from that. So yeah, I think look, the players are really pleased they're top of the league now, and that's all that matters to them.
You feel tired when you lose.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that, you know, and I think it shows you the depth. And if Arsenal for next season, I think Arsenal will win the title next year, no matter what happens. I think they've got the capability. They're improving every single year. They'll add a couple of players in the summer, and I think they're getting better and better. And I don't care what happens this season, I still think they'll be my favourites for next season.
So who does win it this season?
Arsenal.
Who are you saying this?
I still think Man City.
Well, we'll give you plenty of chance to change your mind.
No, I will. But I don't think it's going to go straight forward. I don't think it's going to be a case that Man City are going to win all their games. I just don't. I just think it's so difficult, this league, and winning points. And as I said, I don't think Man City, as much as I love watching them, they haven't been at the level that they were last year, but they're still the best team.
But Arsenal are hoping to run them